Oh, here's a good one. Is white privilege real?
This is what my we talked about this on this other thing.
We did.
Yes, what my thoughts on white privilege is, I think that I think there's all kinds of privilege, but because white people in general are in more positions of power, it's more prevalent. You see it more. But like I was saying to you, like if we're in a job interview and you went to Howard University and I'm black and I went to Howard University, I see that, then I think there's maybe Howard University privilege.
Right.
I think there's very pretty girl privilege. I think there's all this, but I think because white people in general have more positions of power, it's definitely more prevalent or more, I don't know if you'd say noticeable. But
I think
the quick answer, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. There's a good way I thought about this, because in Hollywood, you always hear Jewish people run Hollywood and white people do stuff, and I think
white people do stuff.
White people do the same. You always think it's out of
gays.
You always think it's race related, but what I've seen on the inner workings is people tend to hire their friends.
Yeah,
and like you said, white people are in power.
It's hookups. I mean, it's
because if I'm in power,
yeah,
the blacks is in.
Yeah, and like we were talking on that other thing when we were talking about can black people be prejudiced?
Yeah,
and then we started talking about like power.
Can black people be racist?
Or racist or power positions and stuff, and you were like, well, no, because black people aren't hiring people, and I was like, you hired me for this job, so you can fire me.
I think if you're in position of power, you can be racist.
This is what it is. Also, I think you have to look at things on case by case and at a macro. Like if you look at things at a macro level, then it's easier to paint a brush.
Yeah.
But if you look at it at individual things in micro, then you have to judge things on individual. Like in a macro thing, like what were you about to say something?
No.
Oh, I thought you were about to say something. I kind of lost my train of thought. By the way, I wanted to say at the beginning of this, I'm like so intimidated at how smart he was on his thing that I'm just like, there's white privilege.
Well, George is an English professor and a devout Christian, so he wasn't just like your average gay guy. Yeah. I think that's
Wait, what does that mean?
I don't know,
dude. What do you mean these people?
Oh God! I saw a question before. Do you think hashtag Black Lives Matter was the question? And what do you think about the movement in general?
I think there's there's something that needs to be done. I don't know if a hashtag activism is the right thing. I mean, I heard the guy, and I'm sure people will call me out if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure I saw today that guy put out a thing about after white. The guy that started the Black Lives Matter thing.
Oh, who started it?
It was this. I'm dumb.
I don't know. I thought Black Lives Matter was like a
what I saw is
thing.
Richard Sherman went off on the guy that started Black Lives Matter because supposedly he was saying the war's about to start and get ready to go after white people and cops. And Richard Sherman from the Seahawks apparently went off on him.
I have
ADD though, so I just saw like the title and I was like, okay, I got everything I need from that story.
I've heard that white people like Bill O'Reilly and that's the right? Conservative people, is that the right?
Bill O'Reilly, yeah.
That they want to make a Black Lives Matter leader so that they can like break that leader down and then then break the whole movement down. Do you agree with any of that?
Anytime breaking down a black guy, definitely. No, I'm just kidding.
He's being sarcastic, by the way.
Relax.
If you're on Periscope, you don't know.
Relax.
We only bring comics on here so that they don't take offense to your questions, because I think...
And you can ask me anything.
You can ask him anything.
Ask me about my weight, I won't get offended.
He's 200 and... What was the joke?
About too much.
Yeah, my favorite joke.
Getting back to the Black Lives Matter thing, something has to be done because there is obviously, it's insane how it's getting to where it's like every day there's a new, this guy's just playing with a yo-yo and he's black and he gets shot. It's insane. And what sucks for me personally, on a personal level, is I come from a family of cops.
Yeah.
My uncle worked on the gang task force in Portland. My grandfather was a police officer. My grandfather on my mom's side was a chief of police of San Francisco. My grandmother worked at the police department. Me and my dad were the only ones that were were lawbreakers, I guess. So, on a personal level, I know there are good cops, and I know, but on also like my friends and most of the people I know, black people that I know, I see that too. So it's like it's a really weird thing, because it's like you want to be like, no, guys, not all cops are like that, but then you're like, damn, all these videos, all of them are like this. It's like, man, so this is a really long-winded answer for this. The Black Lives Matter thing, I think, is important. I don't know if a hashtag is the way to do it. I don't have an answer as what, but I don't know if it's, marches again or protests I think are good. But like hashtags, people put up a picture and then that's...
I think to me, I think a lot of times the hashtag spread awareness if nothing else.
Right. Yeah.
Because you hear about unfortunately, this is so sad, but it's so true. Anytime I see a hashtag with a black person's name, like trending on Twitter, I just assume that they got killed by police. And unfortunately, so far, that's been true more often than it's not. And I'm just like, hashtag whatever. If it's Shaun White, it's generally... He's been, like a whole bunch of articles, and that's so sad. So I don't want to talk about me. I just thought that.
No, that's fine.
I saw this a couple of times. So these are kind of similar. What do white people really say about black people behind closed doors? And the other one was similar. Is why do white people hate black people so much?
Wow. Well, all right.
Yeah, Jay.
We get deep on here sometimes, George. Didn't you notice it on the last one? What do white people say about black people behind closed doors? I think it depends on the circle you run with. Like, like the people that I hang out. Like, I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood. I went to all black church, all black school. Whatever white people say before they say something about black people.
With all due respect,
yeah.
I got a black friend, but
yeah. So like even like the white people I hung out with, we grew up in like a predominantly black neighborhood. So we say with no black people there the same thing we would say with black people there. A lot of use of the N-word. I'm just kidding. Joking. No. But the flip side of that is, I remember I worked at a wireless company. I won't say the name. You might be able to see it over the horizon. But there was a white guy I worked with, and I remember it so vivid. And there's a couple of guys who, their dad was the pastor at Maranatha.
Yeah.
And these guys I grew up with that are black, and I consider them family. They're like brothers to me, and they're brothers. And but I was at Horizon over the horizon, whatever. But there's a guy that I worked with, and I don't remember what the topic was or what was being talked about, but he said something N-word, and we're in the building. We're in
white dude?
We're in corporate America, and he was sitting over here, and I go, what'd you say? Because I'm half deaf in my left ear, so sometimes I mishear things.
Right.
So I was like, what'd you say? And then he said it again. And dude, like when you get the heat going up the back, and I told him, like, it takes a lot for me. I'm quicker to get mad at if somebody says something to my friends than me. Like, you can say anything to me, as long as you don't touch me, say whatever you want, it won't bother me, but I'll be quick to snap.
By the way, Jay, weren't you like a black belt? In martial arts?
Yeah.
Aren't you?
I taught MMA for like 10 years and stuff.
A question on that topic.
I'm not done finishing.
I know. But I want you to answer this.
I'm going to let you finish, but...
Have you ever said the N-word in privacy? Just answer that after you finish the story.
I say it on stage.
Do you?
I have a joke about it.
Really?
Yeah.
If you say the full word?
I say it with an A.
Tell the joke, Jay.
Well, the joke is I actually say that lie. I say I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood, blah, 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 whatever black or white people say before they say some black people. I say I love my black friends, but I get really uncomfortable when a black buddy of mine will be like, hey, Jay, you my nigga. And I'm like, jeez. I'm like, because I don't know how to react to that.
Right, like, am I really?
Yeah, because I can't be like, hey, you're mine too. You know?
That's what you definitely do.
Yeah. And then
definitely said that to you.
And then that black dude will introduce me to other black guys the same way. He'll be like, hey, this is my nigga Jay. And then those black dudes will look at me like I just bestowed that name upon myself, and I'm like, no, that's his word. I don't want it anywhere around me. White lives matter. Keep it away.
Don't you think that's part of the reason why the whole idea of we reclaim the word is utter crap? Because you didn't reclaim it. If somebody white says that, you get mad, then you didn't reclaim nothing.
I know, and technically, I mean, we invented it.
What is Jay like a black? If you don't know Big Irish Jay, real quick, if you're just joining us, if you're new to Periscope, the hearts mean you're enjoying what you're seeing, so you can just tap the screen. You can tap the man to share to your followers. And if you don't know, Big Irish Jay loves black women and almost.
I love women of color. I love all women, but majority of the women I've dated, I would say if you were going down a chart, top pick has been black women. Second round pick, it would be probably Latina. Yeah. Latina or Pinay, Filipina, and then Asian, and then white.
How did white women get so far down?
Well, one, I've always been okay. I think there's some psychological reasons behind it. One, I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood, so what I was seeing was a lot of black women. So I think if I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood, I'd probably be more gravitate towards that.
Yeah.
Second, my grandmother, who was my hero, had darker features. She had black hair, dark brown eyes, and so I've never really been a big fan of blonde-haired, blue-eyed type. I've always liked dark. I love brown eyes.
Pretty brown eyes.
Yeah, mint condition, baby.
See, you wouldn't know that's mint condition.
And I love dark, like jet black hair is my thing. So, and usually if there's a white girl that I am attracted to, 95% of the time they only date brothers.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're attracted to white girls that like black guys.
Exactly.
Okay, somebody said, and I did interrupt you. You didn't finish the Horizon story.
Oh yeah. So anyway, so this guy said, I thought he said the N-word, and I was like, what'd you say? And then he said it again. And I think I'd been at the job maybe 6 months, and it's a good job and everything, but because again, it's that protective thing, my friends or people I consider family, and I told the guy, I go, dude, you don't know me, but if you ever say that word around me again, I almost swore. I get pissed, think about it. I tell you, I'll knock you out.
Really?
And the guy was like, and he eventually emailed me and apologized. He was like, dude, I'm so sorry. I was like, dude, don't say the word around. You shouldn't say the word regardless. But I was like, do not say the word around me.
Okay. Do you get criticized by white friends and family for dating predominantly black women?
No. I have some. I've had some white guys be like, "Yeah, I've never dated a black girl. I've always wanted to," and then and that's about the end of it. I think a lot of stuff is the circles you keep because I think from what I'm getting from these questions, the thought is that when no black people around, we're just in a circle of white guys. Wait, what happened? What's that?
Oh, my phone's dying. It's all right.
Do you need to plug it in?
No, yeah, go ahead. I'll grab my charger.
I think the idea is that when there's no black people around, like white people are just sitting in a circle. It's like, who wants to say the N-word first?
Right.
Let's go on the count of three.
Right on the tip of my tongue.
But again, that's the circle of friends that I keep. Like,
to say the N-word first.
Yeah. Like I grew up, playing sports, and most of the people I hung out with were athletes. Now I hang out with comics. So with comics, there's something so, and I'm sure you feel this way and this way too. There's something so refreshing about. There's something about being around comics that you don't get anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
These guys, any comics you're around, we can say pretty much anything to each other with no filter, and we won't be judged, and that's like kind of what this is.
Yeah.
Like we can joke around, we can talk about something serious, keep it light, but also make some points, and that's what it's like being around comics.
Right. Okay, I'm looking for the next question. My neck is killing me trying to sit like this. How many babies mamas? Jay you don't have any kids, do you?
No.
Why do you think white church is so different than black church, or even why those labels exist?
That's a good question. I don't know. That's a good question because it's definitely different. Why is it different? Different cultures, different where Georgia's. I feel like this would be a George question. But,
the church in and of itself, African American churches are based on African tradition, the idea of dancing and music. The truth is, black people will dance pretty much for no reason. We will dance when we have food, when we're in the kitchen.
When the food's on the way in a restaurant, it takes everything in me. And Applebee's, I'm like, hey! And that like fine dining, I try to remain
our culture, and I think that adds to why
white people have no rhythm in life and in church.
And you know what the beautiful thing of you saying that is, and you articulated it much better than I could, but being comics, like, there's so much social justice warriors, like, so many people, like, with you saying that will be like, hey man, you can't, we're all the same. We're not. People are different.
Right.
And I think the quicker, instead of saying we're all the same, I don't think that's good. I think, like, when people say, I don't see color, I don't think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's better to say we're different, and I want to understand.
Yeah, I think it's good we're different, and that's awesome. I want to learn about the differences. Let's embrace it. But when people see, like, say, like, oh, I don't see people of color, I don't know this because I'm not black, but I don't think a black person would want to be like, no, you should see that I'm black. I want you to know I'm black.
Right. Because the world definitely sees color.
Yeah.
People definitely see color. I read somewhere that, like, well, actually, I won't talk about it. I'll get another question from you. I can tell my stories later. Okay, one asked an hour that all day we've been Taylor True, we're different for a reason. They answered already. We're not clear, people. No, we're not clear. We're taking questions. I'm sorry if you're asking when I'm looking at Jay. It's making my neck hurt. What other questions do we have for Jay?
Somebody asked on Instagram, why do white people like that devil food mayonnaise? Which is funny. I don't like mayonnaise. I like
You wouldn't like
I like
mayonnaise.
Miracle Whip.
I like
Is that
Miracle
a black thing, Miracle Whip?
I like Miracle Whip better than mayonnaise. I don't know about.
But
I was because my mom bought Miracle Whip. Though.
Yeah, I was raised by my grandma.
She bought.
If she bought mayonnaise, I probably would like mayonnaise.
I think I like Miracle Whip because I was raised by my grandparents, and my grandparents grew up through the Depression and World War II, and they got Miracle Whip.
Was Miracle Whip cheaper than mayonnaise before?
I think wasn't Miracle Whip created as like a
no, I don't do either one.
I think Miracle Whip was like the alternative that was like, I don't know.
Why do white people like green bean casserole so much?
Green bean what?
Green bean casserole.
That's
Because it is nasty.
This person had obviously a very bad experience at a work luncheon. Somebody brought a green because that's very specific. It wasn't like, why do white people like casserole? Why do people like green bean casserole that
But you
Sarah
know,
from
it's always on
accounting
the back
brought?
of like French's onions. It's always a recipe for green bean casserole.
Oh, I don't like vegetables, so I'm not a big vegetable fan.
What do you call it? Stuffing or dressing?
Stuffing. What do you call it?
Dressing.
Oh, excuse me. What's that look?
Jay is handsome. How can he pull us? He's Big Irish Jay on all social media.
Yeah.
He loves the black ladies. We almost had him. We almost
What if that was a dude? Whatever.
Okay, we're looking for another questions. It's stuffing. Jay, what do you call it, George? Stuffing or dressing?
Stuffing.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. So
What?
your card is revoked.
I'm the only one.
Your card is
You know what's
revoked.
interesting? I like pumpkin pie more than sweet potato.
What's even crazier is my mother never stuffed it in the turkey.
No,
Oh, yeah, you have it in a bowl.
She made it outside. We always call it
Yeah.
stuffing, so
Yeah.
I never knew, you know.
That's hilarious. I like pumpkin pie too.
I'm trying to get ones. What's the difference between a black and a white funeral? Have you been to both?
Well, I'm Irish. We do what's called an Irish wake, which, so basically we go to the, I'm trying to write a joke about funerals too, or being an Irish funeral. So, like when my grandparents passed away at different times, like my grandfather, we had a bagpipe playing Amazing Grace, which to this day, if I hear it, like immediately. So you go to the funeral, at our funerals, we all would say something. Our funeral for like, my Aunt Dorothy was like a roast. Because,
Really?
dude, it was hilarious. Because my Aunt Dorothy didn't have kids, so she took care of like sets of cousins. Mm-hmm. So she took care of like my dad and Buzz, my other cousin, and then like Steve and Will. But so we like, they were, all the sets of these kids were clowning on the other sets. Like, you're the one that drove her to the funeral, or like drove her to the grave.
Oh my God.
Dude, it's like you're crying and laughing. It's great. And then once we get done with the funeral, we go to a bar and we get hammered. And that's an Irish wake, is you get drunk. You just get hammered and like you forget your pain for that and you laugh. And,
It's hilarious. Okay, if you're just joining us, some of the questions that I'm choosing not to answer or ask, we've already asked him. He talked about white privilege very early in the broadcast. He talked about some other things very early in the broadcast. He talked about some of
I'm
those
not going to
things.
answer that question. That's my white privilege.
So go back and watch the broadcast, the replay, to get those questions, or watch it on YouTube later. What's your favorite characteristic about black women? I'm going to get the mustard greens question next.
Blunt.
Black women.
Rolling blunts?
Blunt. No, being blunt.
Oh, being blunt.
Yeah. I like that. Like, I think, and strong will. Like again, it goes back to my grandmother. Like, my grandmother was very feisty, and she was the most supportive, loving person, but she also wasn't afraid to be like, baby, I love you, but you need to not do this, whatever.
Right.
So if you're talking like, in general, I'd say just, maybe their strong will, but if you're talking physical, I mean, I think...
No, his grandma wasn't black. She was white with dark hair and dark eyes.
People used to think I was light-skinned.
They did not.
I swear to God, listen.
Paper.
I used to have really short, and it was always faded. Like my supervisor at Horizon, her name's Bobby Clark, older black lady, great lady. She didn't even like ask me. She just one day she was like, "So is your mom black?" And I was like, "No." She goes, "So your dad?" I go, "No." And she goes, "So who in your family is black?" I was like, I don't know, maybe back in the day.
Really?
Yeah, I used to. People say
Rachel those out in the house.
Yeah, great, lovely.
What do you think about her, by the way?
I think it's she's a dummy.
Really? She's from Washington, where we both
I do
met.
a joke about her. Yeah, like I've been trying to figure out this joke. It's not worked out, but I'll present it here. Like the whole thing about I say that it's about shaming. Like I say, shaming's good, and I say look at who shames their kids, black people. Black people shame their kids. They give them George Jefferson haircuts, or they beat them up, and then they upload it to YouTube. But I say it works because then those shamed kids become untouchable as adults.
Right.
Like, you can't shame a black woman. You call her fat, and they turn it into an acronym. They're like, yeah, I'm pretty hot and tempting.
Right.
Or you try and you try and slut shame a black chick. You be like, you're a hoe. She'd be like, yeah, I'm the hoe you tried to get with. I'm the baddest hoe you got. And then I say that black people are saying that white people appropriate black culture.
Yeah!
Listen.
Yeah!
And my theory is, I say yes because we don't get shamed. So everything to us is like, just try everything. Everything's great. And then when white people become adults and they hear something they don't like, then they become bloggers. Whereas we see a black person doing something, we know as an adult that's already been through the shaming process.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, that's cool. I know that one made it
Oh
through.
my God, that's my question. I don't usually ask questions, but here's mine. I see this on Twitter a lot.
Yeah.
Why do white people take everything, like, once white people know about it, it's just invented. Like, twerking. Oh, mighty twerk. Now twerking's a thing that's been around since forever.
Yeah.
Dreadlocks. Oh, when Kylie Jenner has faux dreads, it's in. But when Zendaya wears dreads, she smells like patchouli oil.
Mine has always been in.
Yeah, or like, when Beyonce straightens her hair, like, why? Oh, wait. My bad. No.
Jay's being sarcastic if you don't know him, by the way. Okay, here's a question, a quick one. Mustard greens or collard greens?
Neither. Ugh. I don't like vegetables, man. I'm not a big vegetable guy. I do like, no.
No, it's still going.
Okay, all right.
Go ahead, Jay.
Oh, no, so neither for me. Greens, neither.
Okay. The other question that I saw was, are white men secretly attracted to black women but don't want to say it in public?
There's no secret here.
Well, we know about you, but other white men.
You know, like I said earlier in this thing, I've had white friends, you know, it's weird because I've had some white friends that'll be like, yeah, I've never dated a black girl, you know, or and I've always wanted to, and I don't know like what the rest of that sentence is because there's nothing, like okay, because I definitely think there's some white guys and Asian guys and Mexican that are intimidated to talk to black women.
Did you ever have bad greens? Somebody said. Jay doesn't like vegetables, so that's why. Greens aren't vegetables when you put bacon in it. Oh, black people love to do that.
I love bacon.
Collard greens would be healthy if we didn't
I'll take
put like
collard
salt
greens
pork
with
in them.
bacon minus the collard greens.
Okay, guys, we got time. We got about 15 more minutes, so we're gonna take as many questions as possible. Then we gotta get out of here. If you got dropped out, I got a call. I don't care about what people eat. Why do you think that they are intimidated? Why do you think white men are intimidated to talk to black women?
Just stereotypes and like I said, I think it's just unknown. Like people, I mean, Jesus, if you think about it, if you follow Twitter or anything like, there's a lot of promotion of like white people are the devil. So
white people are the devil.
Yeah,
blonde hair, blue eyes, and you have blue eyes.
Yeah, dude, it's great. Black chicks love it. No, so I mean, if you think of that, like if somebody that's just looks at everything from a surface level, you know, maybe they're like, should I not talk to this black girl because she's going to think I'm the devil? You know, me, I don't care. Like I have the salesman mentality. Every time a girl shoots me down, it's just closer to a yes.
He already asked, how do you finally feel about interracial dating? Just watch the replay if you missed that.
I have a question for Jay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
As a man who appreciates, is friends with, dates in the black community, what do you think black people should do to improve their station in society?
Oh, man, George, you're so smart. Gosh.
Yeah, man. What do you think, Jay?
You know, I don't know if it's something that black people have to do as much as white people.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Because I think a lot of stuff has to change, like perception has to change, and that's a good question, George. That's a good question, and I don't, like I said, my first response is I don't know if it's something that necessarily black people have to do. Mm-hmm. I think it might be something that white people have to do with, like, you know, I mean, going back to just looking at, like, the example of, like, darkening the OJ picture. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, there's certain things that have happened or continue to happen that, what is the point? Like, what is the reasoning behind it, you know? I think it would be something more on, like, the media and the white side would have to change rather than black people. Like, black people keep doing what you're doing.
Well, I'm also asking because, like, if you look at gay rights has come very quickly It's extremely powerful, fast movement. And the civil rights movement seemed to hit a roadblock in the early 1970s. And it's hard to get people up and moving unless there's something like a Black Lives Matter. Like, what can the black community learn from how quickly the gay community, who actually appropriated the civil rights movement, do in order to advance that position in society? That because the discussion is there now. People are afraid to say they're anti-gay, but they're not afraid to say that they feel a certain way about certain things that black people do.
Yeah, it used to be that you couldn't say anything negative about black people, but now you can't say anything about gay people. They will destroy you. I remember Roland Martin got suspended from CNN for just insinuating a gay joke. He didn't even actually fully say it. He got suspended for that. But go ahead, Jay.
Sorry. Well,
you're too smart for Jay. He just
seriously.
He's
I'm like,
to you and he's
is this German we're speaking?
But if you look at the gay rights movement, specifically same-sex marriage, which is the most recent thing, what do you think the black community can take from the thrust and the power that movement had to turn things around in under 10 years?
Okay. Well, one thing, like, usually gay parades or there's it's almost like there's a underlying theme of fun. And we talked about on a previous one how it's so funny, black people, I'm speaking in general terms, relax, but and even the fact that I have to say that is so annoying that I have to preface it. But remember when we were talking about how
I'm listening,
black people they want support up to a certain point, but then when you do it past a certain level, it's like, hey man, this is our thing.
That's Rachel goes out.
Yeah, we don't want
you to. She was cool. Yeah. Like, hey man, all right, that's cool.
But that's why I say in that joke is I was like, white people ruin everything. Because when everybody thought Rachel was black, everybody was like, oh, her hair's still pretty. She dressed so nice. As soon as she came out white, everybody was like, look at this dummy with her stupid hair and her clown clothes.
Okay, we have a couple more questions. Do you hate when people say you're acting black?
I don't really get that, to be honest with you. I've had black people say that's one thing they appreciate is that I'm just me. I feel like, I don't know. When I was a kid though, I had that where in middle school and stuff, and I think that's all part of figuring out who you are as a person. But did it bother me? No, I was just like, all right.
Okay, what do you think about black women with natural hair?
We talked about it on the other one. When I said on the other one, people got pissed, but I'll say it again. I think it's all in the style of it. I'm not a big fan of, as I said in the other one, the astronaut helmet.
What does that even mean?
I think
the
full Erica.
But when Bob Ross did it was okay.
I didn't like it on him either. No, I think it's how it's styled. I watched this video of there's a black girl with natural hair, and they showed her. Again, it was a white hairstylist, but she was styling her hair in all these different styles, and she was beautiful. It was awesome.
Ashley Field 19 likes Jay. Hook him up. Tweet him at Big Irish Jay.
Big Irish Jay.
He travels a lot. He more than likely is coming to a city near you. I saw a question. White people talk to me like I'm not educated. What's that about?
Yeah, that's on them. I wouldn't I don't know what the question is.
We like to have questions that Jay can't speak for all white people.
No, but I'll say, this is the
one
thing.
White person.
What's up with that? Well, the guy's an idiot. I mean, with a lot of stuff, I think, if you know who you are, then I'm a pretty laid back person. So if somebody were to come at me and they were talking to me like I'm dumb, George doesn't do that. I just naturally feel dumb. Right. He's really, really smart. But if somebody was just talking down to me or whatever, I don't know. If it's something I do know something about, I would be like I'm not a kid. I know what you're saying. And if it's something I don't know about, I'd be like, all right, what do you got to say? I don't know. But as far as that person, for lack of a better term, then that person's an asshole. Sorry.
And maybe it be something to the conversation that sort of wards them off. Because I've had people do that to me, and then I'll say, I was actually reading of that in a compendium of thought that was about Kissinger. And then they're like, oh shit, I'm sorry, I can't say that.
Gosh, guys.
And then you do like Matt Damon and Good Will Hunting. You like apples? I got a number. How do you like them apples?
So here's a question: do you think OJ did it?
Yeah, probably.
You know what my theory is? I heard that his son did it, and his son was mentally he had some mental instability. And OJ covered for his son. There's a whole book about it. OJ covered for his son, and the son, the glove fit in blood, and he had knives.
Because the DNA wasn't 100% matched, but it said someone very similar DNA.
So I heard it was his son was
that's what I thought too.
And that's what that makes
drove
more
over to the
sense.
house and gave him a knife and was like, "You remember that game we played earlier?
Stab the white woman." It's the newest game from Hasbro. Stab that white woman.
Okay, guys, we got about 5 more minutes. Jay and I got to take off.
I gotta check that out. That's interesting.
Yeah, you should read. I forgot the guy read it, but look it up. Somebody said we need a real white person. Jay's an anomaly.
Thanks.
Jay is really white. He has the leprechaun. He's really Irish. You're really more Irish. Like
I'm full Irish.
Irish is very white. I'm just gonna go.
Oh no, definitely.
Italian, not so white.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, a couple more questions, guys, and then we'll do this more often with Jay, because we've been wanting to do this, but now it's better. Ben Carson or Bernie Sanders, and your church preference.
I liked a lot of. I haven't seen enough of Ben Carson's stuff. Like I saw him in that. A little bit of him, and Bernie Sanders, I like a lot of the stuff I'm saying from him. I just saw a Joe Biden interview that I really liked too. I don't know if Biden's going to run or not.
I think he's going to.
And then what was my church of preference?
Yeah.
The Church of Comedy.
Oh,
so I listen to right now. I don't go to church, so I'm like, whatever you believe, if it helps you to be a righteous person, I support it.
Right.
Do white people care about the light skin, dark skin thing like black people do?
No. I think being an anomaly, I know about this, but for the white people that are not anomalies, I can't even say the word. That's how dumb I am, George. I don't think they even know. They have no knowledge that.
Really?
I don't think a lot of people that aren't involved with the black community or know people in the black community.
Even if those people are extremely fair and have blue eyes and light hair. Because I think that then it would. I mean, okay, I'm just a yellow black person. I'm just a yellow dude. But I didn't have the green eyes or the blue eyes and the curly light hair. I would think there would be a slightly different reaction to someone that would look more like what you're comfortable with.
But no, wait, what was the question? Do white people know about that?
Does it matter? Does it care? Like it does, like black people care about light skin, dark skin stuff.
Oh, wait. Make sure I'm understanding. So do white people care if
how people would say light-skinned women do this, dark-skinned women do this, light-skinned guys do this, dark. Do white people see any difference?
Oh, if I'm
if you're looking at a group of black people, do you see or have any thoughts of difference?
I see what you're saying, George. Maybe again going off perception or stereotypes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good question. I'll have to ask some of my.
But when you go to your white meetings,
when you get in a circle and start saying the N-word.
real quick, but as we close, Big Irish J on everything.
Big Irish J.
On Instagram, I'm the George Blake, and George Blake on Facebook, and Gluten Free George on Twitter.
Okay, and I'm KevOnStage, obviously. And somebody asked where we're broadcasting this from. We're in Los Angeles, California, but Jay travels a lot. George, do you travel a lot?
Not a lot. A lot. I'm home based here.
Okay, all right. We got time for about 1 or 2 more questions, then we gotta go. Some people need to look up the definition of anomaly. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I would if I could spell
it. Everyone from Big Irish J is from Boston.
Yeah.
And George is from Baltimore.
Yeah. Boston, Seattle. I've lived all over.
Would you prefer a black or a white woman to cook for you?
That's a good question. It depends on what she's cooking. And I don't mean collard greens or this, that. I just mean is the white girl cooking a vegan meal and the black girl's cooking fried chicken? Then I'm in.
The white girl's cooking fried chicken and the black girl's
then I'm with the white girl. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It depends on what they're cooking.
So you just want somebody to
if they're both cooking the same thing, do I have a preference? Nah, I could care less. As long as I'm eating, I'm happy.
Meat and potatoes.
Yeah, meat and potatoes. That's my thing.
Okay, we got time for one more question. Everybody, make it a good one.
Here we go.
This is Ask a White Guy with Big Irish J, KevOnStage, and George is sitting in. George Blake is sitting in. One more question.
They're done.
It probably asked it so many times we weren't looking.
6'8" for the ladies. I like long.
Are white people intimidated by the way they look? As a white man, are people intimidated by the way they look, or we look? I don't know if it's black people or white people. Are you intimidated by the way black men look?
No.
White people in general?
I think it's again like the circles you run in, where you're from, this and that. A kid from Portland, a hipster from Portland might be.
Yeah.
But a guy in the South might not be.
Right.
You know,
Very
I think
true.
it's, or a guy from back east.
Right. Yeah.
A New Yorker who probably couldn't care.
No, your questions aren't blocked. Go ahead and ask your question, Cheeks 2522. You'll be the next person asking.
12 inches. My feet.
Oh my
feet.
God.
No, I wear like a 16. Is that
Do
what
you?
you're Yeah, I wear a size 16.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
How many black family reunions have you been to?
About 3 or 4. Yeah.
I've never been to one.
Yeah. You talk about sticking out like a sore throat.
Hey guys, this is your cousin from don't worry about it.
If you need a beacon, just go down to the white guy, take a right.
But do you find when you're at those that you're really very warmly welcome? Because I would think that it would be like, come on in. Like, we tend to be that way. You might feel.
Absolutely. And then I took, like, my buddy Matt, who's the guy I grew up with that's like my brother. He's come to my family reunions, too.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's like, hey, you're Black Irish.
Black Irish. Okay, last question, Jay. What's your favorite TV show?
Ooh, man. I don't have cable, so I watch a lot of stuff on Netflix. What have I been watching? Narcos on Netflix is, have you seen it?
Yeah, I'm not done, but I've seen about 4 or 5 episodes.
Dude,
That's good.
Like, I always knew, like, yeah, you hear about Pablo Escobar, but you have no idea.
Right.
Like, what else do I like? There's something else I've been watching. I've been watching The Last Comic Standing. The Prophet on Hulu.
You
is
do
awesome.
like church.
What's up?
The Prophet, you totally missed it.
Oh, good.
That's neither here nor there. All right, guys,
You're
make sure to
on
follow
my team.
Big Irish Jay on Periscope. He's also on Periscope.
Yeah, Big Irish J on everything.
Netflix and chill, Jay.
Netflix and chill. Hey, I'm in.
He's in. It's all he has. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll
Thanks,
see you
guys.
next time. Follow us on social media so you'll know and be aware.
Yeah.